I'm going to tell you a story. Can you spot the mistakes? I hurt my thumb yesterday. It happened during science class. I was thinking about my last foreign holiday when I tried to pick up a knife. Because I wasn't listening or paying attention, I cut myself on the knife. It was all my fault. I was guilty of not being careful. During that story, I made 6 sounds that should not be made in English. Did you spot them all? Let me talk you through them. First of all, I pronounced a B after an M, but B is usually silent after M and before T. I said I hurt my thumb yesterday, but the B should have been silent. It should have been I hurt my thumb yesterday with no B sound. And this happens with many words. Thumb, climb, lamb, tombstone, where the B comes after M, and then doubtful and debt, where the B comes before the T. In all of these words, the B is not pronounced. There are some exceptions though, particularly in words with multiple syllables, such as number or umbrella. Secondly, C is silent after S. I said it happened during science class, but it should have been science class. And there are many words where this happens. Science, scene, descent, where C is silent after S, although it only applies when followed by E or I sounds. In the words that have just appeared on the screen, you do pronounce the C as a K sound. Scarf, scrap. And in general, if we have the A or the O or something else after the C, then we pronounce the C as a K, even though it comes after S. The third problem was with the G before the N. I said foreign, but it should have been foreign. The G should have been silent and I should have just said the N. And this happens a lot in English too. Gnome, gnat, rain. In all of these words, the G is silent. But this only works if they occur in the same syllable. Compare with these words. Signal, dignity. Here we have G followed by N, but we do pronounce the G because the G comes at the end of one syllable and the N starts the next one. Signal. Dignity. When there are 2 or more syllables and the G and the N split the syllable, then we usually would say the G sound. But in one syllable words such as gnome, gnat, rain, where there's only one sound, one syllable, leave out the G. Fourthly, K is silent before N. I said knife, but I should have said when I tried to pick up a knife without the K sound. And this is another very common rule. Words such as knife, kneel, know, all follow this rule where we start on the N sound and we leave out the K. But again, this only applies if they occur in the same syllable, just as with G and N. There are exceptions such as these when they split the syllable. Sickness, nickname. Here we have the K followed by the N, but they split the syllable. Sick, nick, ness, name. Sickness. We need to pronounce both sounds when they join 2 syllables together. Fifth, the T is silent after the S. Look at the next sentence. Because I wasn't... Now, I said listening, but it should have been listening. The T should have been silent. It should have just been the S sound, listening. And this is another very common rule when we're speaking English. Words such as listen, hasten, castle, all have a silent T because they come after the S. However, this pattern tends to affect words in this particular format. S-T-E-N, listen, hasten. S-T-L-E, castle. Listen to these words with a slightly different pattern. Listed, haste, cast. Here, the T is pronounced because it doesn't follow the pattern that I've shown here in red. And the sixth one is sometimes the U is silent after the G. Now, I said I was guilty. That's pronouncing the G and the U. But I should have said guilty. And there are lots of words where we don't pronounce the U after the G. Guilty, guitar. But not always. For example, jaguar, anguish. In these words, we do pronounce the U and many others. This is not a hard and fast rule. There are some words where you do pronounce the U after the G, and many words, probably more words, where you do not pronounce the U after the G. But you do have to learn these ones one by one. And there's plenty more to learn about when letters are silent in English and when you're reading and you need to know which sounds to make and which sounds not to make on my course, Advanced English Speaking and Pronunciation, which has a range of other speaking features that you can learn from. Or click on the video that you can see on the screen for more from me on speaking skills on this channel.